I came to the Dominican Republic to live freely, but freedom wasn't enough. I thought the beaches, the nightlife, the resorts, that was life. I thought that living in a new country, exploring everything, experiencing everything, would finally make me feel alive. But it did for a while until it didn't. And I didn't realize it at first. When I first got to Dominican Republic, I went out every single weekend. Hotels, clubs, beaches, parties, you name it. I did it all. And I loved it. Every single day felt like a new adventure. I remember one night in Sosua, walking along the beach thinking, this is it. I'm finally living. Or my first weekend in Santo Domingo, exploring the city and meeting new people, feeling completely free. It was exciting. It was intoxicating. But underneath it all, there was an emptiness that I still didn't notice at the time. Fun was fun, but it didn't last. Experiences came and went. Parties ended, nights turned into mornings, mornings turned into weeks, and I realized I was still searching for something that didn't exist in those moments. Freedom felt endless, but it wasn't feeling anything. I started asking myself, what am I actually chasing? Is it just fun, or is it meaning? I spent years trying to figure it out. I made mistakes. I failed. I tried things that didn't work. And there were moments where I had clarity. When I was walking alone in Santo Domingo somewhere in Piantini, and I was thinking, I can do all of this, but is it enough? Am I building anything, or am I just going in circles here? I began to notice other people, in families, couples, people living in a rhythm within their own life, and I thought, what does it mean to have a life? And I realized that experiences alone don't create a life. Experiences are temporary. You can have parties, resorts, and freedom, but if it's not intentional, it just kind of slips through your fingers. Now I know what I want to build. I imagine having a home and stability in both countries, where I can travel back and forth between both. And if I want to go out and have fun, I can. If I want to relax, I can. If I want to invest, I can. If I want to come back to the States, I can. And I can live the same life, the same quality of life in both places without leaving one behind. Fun is easy, but real life is done with purpose. Because freedom without roots, it just feels empty. And I think that's something everyone eventually realizes. We all chase freedom, but at some point, we want roots, stability, connection. And moving abroad can feel like an adventure, but what are we really chasing? Experiences? Parties? Or are we chasing a life that we can actually build? I want my story to show that it's okay to dream big, but it's also okay to build a life step by step. And a lot of people don't cover that. I know that part is not glamorous, but it's meaningful. So here I am looking back on the freedom that I had chased and the mistakes that I had made and this new perspective and clarity that I found. And I can see how every experience, every mistake, every night out, every new town that I've traveled to taught me one thing. The life I want doesn't come from chasing freedom alone. It comes from building intentionally, imagining what matters, and then creating it piece by piece. Freedom can feel amazing, but it's not enough if you're not building something real to go along with it. So I'm gonna leave you with this. What does a real life actually look for you? If you moved abroad, or if you're chasing freedom, what are you really after? Is it fun, experiences, and adventure? Or is it something deeper, something intentional? Because you can have parties, beaches, resorts, or you can have a life you build that actually lasts.